Welcome to another mix breakdown, you guys. Today we're discussing my song On Top of My Grave, which came out on Monday. I'm pretty sure this is the fastest production from the point I started writing the song to the point it was mixed and mastered was like, I don't know, let's call it about 6 or 7 hours. This one just flowed out of me quickly, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. So that's that. Today I wanted to discuss, well, the whole song, of course, and all the little bits and pieces, but I really wanted to talk about the vocals in this song because I think I came up with a pretty interesting special sauce recipe for the vocals. So let's get to it. My only friend. These tracks right here, these two here, these are the lead vocals. So before we go too deep, let's just listen to these vocals so you know what I'm talking about. It's a cool stereo effect using two different vocal takes. So here's what it sounds like. I've been running away from the things I should say, trying hard not to hurt, dusting off my old dirt. I've been pushing so hard that I lost all my cards in a race to the end. Now she's my only friend. My only friend. All right, so, right? I'm pretty proud of this sound. Very popular sound. It could be applied to several different genres of music. So let's talk about how I got this sound, okay? So for any of you who watched last week's mix breakdown, you're going to recognize what I'm going to talk about. This is my basic standard preset that I've made for myself for my vocals, plugins I like. So the virtual mixer is going to come up now. We recognize this, okay? So first, what I want to talk about is the fact that I'm making a better effort to get my vocals more up front and in these mixes, right? I've gotten some comments from one of my regular viewers and regular commenters, Anna Novell. She has written to me a few times and been like, yeah, I can't really hear your vocals in this song. And I started to wonder, am I doing that like really classic singer/engineer thing where I tend to bury the vocals because they're my vocals? It's a funny thing, like drummers who mix their songs and play the drums on their songs. The drums are always really loud. Singers who mix songs, it seems like the vocals are always kind of low. I don't know what that's all about, but it is what it is. So what's different on this particular song is that I'm using this microphone right here. This is my AKG P420. Very, very highly underrated microphone in the home recording scene. If you've picked these up used for like $200 or $300, these are Neumann U87 clones made by AKG. So this is a cool little microphone. Of course, it's not going to sound exactly like a U87, but for something you can buy for under $500 and used for a lot less than that, and from a reputable company like AKG, absolutely, positively worth checking out if you're looking for a very versatile and cool condenser microphone, okay? AKG P420. The SSL EQ over here, at 10 kilohertz, I'm pushing this pretty hard. I'm pushing this up to, 4.5 dB, let's call it. Down here at 6.18 kilohertz, another decent push at 4 dB, right? So I'm doing a lot to push this high-end thing. I want high-end, but I don't want it to be crispy. I want it to be smooth and have clarity, okay? Basic needs out of a vocal track. So good microphone, little bit of good attention on which frequencies to push, but in this particular case, 10 kilohertz and 6, we'll just call it 6 kilohertz. These are the ranges with this microphone, my voice, that's where I was pushing the high end. I pulled a lot of the 200 out. This is one of the nice things about this SSL EQ is like you just yank it all the way to the left and it is on 200. As you know, I don't like the 200 range on anything really. And I'm pulling that at like 5.5 dB, so a lot. I am bumping up. This is probably, around 130 at 2.5 dB, more or less. Just to give it a little bit more body and warmth, this microphone has a good amount of warmth to it, especially if you're, close to it and working its proximity effect a little bit. Has its own warmth, but I want it to boost a little bit, of course. And then I'm going to use this FG401. One of the things I love about this compressor is but you can hit your signals pretty hard and it doesn't remove a ton of low end. If you have this Slate Digital package, I love this thing. I like this more than that, the stressor thing. That one's cool and it's very, very good. But that thing I don't know, it doesn't have my favorite character in the world. I used to use it a lot, but now that I'm using this one more, I've found that I like it a lot more in vocals. So guys out there with Slate Digital stuff, this is the mix here. Okay, so the effect though, which is the same as last week, is this chorus effect, okay? Straight out of GarageBand, this thing, using the mega wide chorus preset right out of it. The only thing that's slightly different than last week is that the mix is turned up a lot more, okay? So let me just solo this track and let's listen to how much of this chorus effect is actually on this vocal.
From the things I should say, trying hard not to hurt, dusting off my old dirt.
Okay, so the intensity, as you can see, is 89%. So it's quite intense, right? It's really creating a lot of chorus effect, which is going to sort of tend to wash it out into those left and right channels, even though it is a mono signal that was recorded. Okay, so now let's come down to the second vocal because it has a different chorus on it. Okay, and this is not a copy and pasted track. This was sung twice as closely as the first, as I could. They're new lyrics at this point in the day, so sometimes there's a few variations, but in general, I tried to hit it exactly the same. But the EQs and stuff are about the same. The high end's going to be a little bit different here, not pushed as heavily. All the compressor, everything is about the same, but I'm not pushing the high end as hard on this particular track because of the effect that is here coming out of Little Altar Boy plugin, which is from Soundtoys. I love this thing. Super fun, super useful. This has a small chorus effect on it, right? So the other one's like mega wide. This one's small. So it's this, it's same effect, right? It's a chorus effect, but it's smaller. It's staying in the center. And what I did to change it up a little bit is just to add some of this drive in there. So it's distorting a medium about, I would say. And I will say the formant is down to just negative 0.2, just to add a little bit of some low end and weird low end to this vocal track. So here's what this one sounds like by itself.
I've been pushing so hard that I lost all my cards in a race to the end. Now she's my only friend.
Right. Let's listen to the top one again.
Cards in a race to the end. Now she's my only friend.
Right. So you should hear that. Hopefully you're in your studios or under headphones or something where you can hear how different that chorus effect is, right? Mega wide is mega wide. Small chorus, really small, with a little bit of distortion, decent amount of EQ, and a little bit of compression. The combination of the two create this really neat effect.
I've been pushing so hard that I lost all my cards in a race to the end. Now she's my only friend.
Right? So I will add that if you don't have the Slate Digital stuff or you don't have that Little Altar Boy plugin, you can totally recreate this using the GarageBand plugins. Use the same chorus effect, just bring the intensity way down, and then add a little bit of distortion to it, EQ it, compress it. And these are both panned to 12 o'clock, worth mentioning, but just having one with the mega wide and one with a small chorus on it, that combination turned out these results, and I thought you would like to know how I came up with it because they're pretty cool. I think I'm really happy with these lead vocals. These are more vocals out of the chorus, same treatment, but because of the fact that the lyrics, let me zoom in just so you can see, they bleed just over each other a little bit. The last word of the verse right here and the first word of the chorus, there's just a little tiny bit of crossover there. So it was necessary to sing the choruses on a different channel, and that's why I did it. Backup vocals. So the oohs right here. The only thing that's different, well, let's listen to them first.
And now she's my only friend. My only friend.
Okay, pretty standard treatment. I'm using my normal vocal plugin setup, but the thing that's different and compared to the other songs I've done is there is no reverb on these tracks right here. This is the highest vocal, this is the middle one, and these are the low ones. And that's the only place where there's reverb on these two lower vocals. The other thing that's interesting, I think, about the panning on these guys, again, these are the low ones here, middle ones here, and the high ones, right? So the low ones are at plus or minus 10. I try not to move these when I click on it's hard. The middle ones are at 30 and these ones are at 25. Right. So because that lead vocal is so spread out to the sides, I didn't want the backup vocals, the oohs and even the other harmonies that come later in the chorus, I didn't want them to take up the same sonic space. I wanted that lead vocal to have as much space in the far left and right as possible. So when it came time to mix and pan these backup vocals, I just made sure that they weren't in the same area as that lead vocal. That's, common sense, right? You want to keep your backup vocals out of the way of your lead vocal as much as you can. All right, so next up, I want to talk about the bass track because I know somebody out there commented wondering if I had actually played a bass or if this was a MIDI bass. Well, I did indeed play the electric bass here in my house. This was my Epiphone, L80. I forget the model number, but my P-Bass-ish Epiphone copy thing. Anyway, Groove Matcher's on, so you're going to hear a little bit of clicking. That's the Groove Matcher. It just, every now and then, it just adds a little clicky click noise, but you never hear it in the whole mix, so it's not a big deal. Here's what this bass track sounds like. Okay, pretty standard. Modern stack sound, I use this all the time, right out of GarageBand. The only thing that I did slightly differently this particular week was I really wanted to make sure that I got the percussive nature of the finger on the string sound, and I wanted the high end to have just a little bit more of a growl in its high mid range. So I pushed this one pretty hard in the 2K area. I'll show you that right here. Here's the 2K EQ, and it is pushing hard. I mean, look at this, like 6.5 dB. That's pretty hard to be pushing 2K on a bass signal. This one right here, this is at 3.2-ish, and I'm pushing it again, 2.5 dB. Just sort of the same basic frequency range that I just wanted to make sure I was getting that percussive nature of the finger attack on the string. I'm going to turn this EQ on and off just so you can hear that difference. Right? So that's it. That was the only slightly interesting thing. I push real hard on the 2K, which isn't something a lot of people do, especially on a bass track. There's not a lot of 2K information on a bass track. I know this, but it was enough. I needed to get that sound, and that's where it was living. So that's what happened, okay? But otherwise, basic modern stack sound. I didn't really change anything on this one. Pretty basic. Okay. Now, I wanted to make sure, one of the reasons I wanted to make sure I got that percussive nature of that finger on the string sound is because of the kick drum in the Big Room drum machine, right out of GarageBand. Nothing fancy here. Electronic drum kits, Big Room. Awesome drum sound. But listen to this pattern. Let me solo this. Does this remind you of any particular Michael Jackson song? Listen to this. Did anybody get it? I hope, leave a comment if you think you know what it is. The song that I hear when I hear that beat is, what is it called? The Way You Make Me Feel. Man, when I found this beat in the morning and I started playing it, I was like, oh, that's a total Michael Jackson beat. I got to use it. I was super happy. Every now and then you stumble into famous beats as you cycle through the GarageBand drum stuff, and this was one. There's even a 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover beat in there if you know where it is, and I do. So anyway, this is the drums. I didn't change anything. I might have played with the mixer down here, turned the kick up, turned the snare and claps up, but no anything different as far as the way the preset just opens all by itself. Up here at the top, quickly, I'll talk about this. This is from my Philharmonic 2 package from IK Multimedia. These are French horns. I was looking for a sound that was sort of something you probably haven't heard matched up before. I mean, I'm talking electronic drum beat, bass, electric guitar, and French horns, right? Those 4 elements, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they're not put together very often. I was looking for something that had a natural sound. Everything else is like electric bass, electric guitars, electric drums. I wanted something to have sort of an organic sound that was almost pad-like, but was again sort of a real instrument. Now these are sampled French horns, but still they were real French horns when they were really originally recorded. And here's the horn part by itself. Okay, and in the whole mix. Right? I just thought it was a fun combination of instruments. That's about it. I didn't do anything crazy with that thing. Pretty much stock Philharmonic 2. That thing is awesome. If you're looking for great strings, horns, percussion stuff, that is a seriously good. The Miroslav package from IK Multimedia, really, really great. Okay. Last thing not the last thing, one of the last things, second to last thing I want to talk about is these guitar parts right here. These two, in fact, we're going to talk about these 4 right here. Okay. Let's listen first, talk later.
Top of my, on top of my grave, on top of my grave, on top of my grave.
Okay, right? So one of the things I want to mention is, okay, not only, of course, I'm using the Heartbroken thing. I love this preset. I changed, of course, the cabinet and the microphone here. I'm using the Boutique Retro 2x12 with this 57 that is pushed over to the edge of the cone. With distorted sounds, I really do not like the microphone in the center of the cone. I like it on the edge of the cones or 3/4 of the way across maybe. The center is just way too bright, and especially for like distorted sounds. So this is the guitar on the left, guitar on the right, different cabinet, different microphone, different, same guitar riff, but played again on the same guitar, different pickup. Just remember, you got to switch it up when you're doing these left and right guitar things. It's what is, that's what's going to make it have that color, and it's just going to add to the stereo spread of it all. Okay. So that's that. Now, these are playing in the same octave. These guys right here, same exact part. Okay, so those little slidey moments, I wanted to find a way to just help accentuate them with some basic ornamentation of another guitar part, right? So what I did was I actually added 2 different octaves, and this is a whole different sound. This is the stadium spread sound, but an octave up from that one we just listened to. Okay. And then this, here we are back with the Heartbroken. The room reverb is turned way up. And let's see, what's the cabinet combination here? Okay, so here another one. Stadium 2x12. I'm using the Dynamic 609, still at the edge of the cone. Same distortion. I didn't change any of the head settings. I just changed the cabinets and the microphones, especially for something like this. I was happy with the distortion and the overall tone. Just wanted to make sure that there was something that was different between left and right and from take to take. So all 4 of these are a little bit different. But when you listen to all 4 in combination and, just keep an eye on this part as I play it again for the last time, this is a great way, just adding some new octaves in strategic moments of a guitar riff to just help, push a little bit on that interesting part of your riff. If you want to push there, this is a great way to do it. Very normal, common thing to do. Just a great way to give it a little lift in that interesting section of the riff. One more time, here's what it sounds like.
On top of my grave, on top of my grave.
Right? Pretty cool, I think. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is the musical bridge. There's no lyrics over this. Always remember, you guys, you must set the key of your project before you push record on any part of your songs. Make sure that you have set the key to the GarageBand project file properly. Up here at the top, you see it's set to C minor. So that's what key the song is in. This is important for 2 reasons, really. The auto tuner will work best if the key is set properly, right? And also it gives you access to the loops in the loop library at the proper key. What a wonderful idea. So just make sure that that is set. Okay. So these sounds pretty basic. the Ascension ARP thing right here. Pretty nice little sort of trinkety sound. It's just got a nice fluttery effect and just sort of shimmery effect. I love it. Which is a fun sound. Christy Background. I love her last name, Christy Background. She sounds hot. I'll just say this. Ooh, girl. What a voice. Whoever she is, great singing. Gospel thing right here. This is just a solo. I did try looping this and it didn't feel right to hear this more than once. Just once is enough. Twice was like, it's looped, right? So I didn't want it to sound like that. So I just played it once. It's this. Now, I did add my reverb from the master channel output. This is a nice way to make these loops blend better with your own songs to apply similar effects. So it could be the same delay, or in this case, it's the same reverb, or actually both. So right after this gospel thing, we have the choral tension vox pad. You'll hear it and why it makes sense after this little gospel vocal riff. Right? Pretty nice sound there. And the last thing here is the morphing atmosphere, which has some fun automation. So let's look at that. Okay, so this green line here, this represents the panning automation, okay? So what you will hear when I push play is this sound start, in the right-hand side, but then it's going to sweep over hard to the left, okay? So just listen to this, because it's a really classic mixing technique, but creates it's just a cool way to play with the sonic scape of any song, this pan trick. Watch this. Isn't that cool? A really basic thing. You can do this with guitar tracks, vocal tracks, pretty much anything you want. If you have something where you want to sort of get a little tricky with your mixing, a nice pan sweep like that is a classic thing to do. I really wanted something in this, musical bridge to just have some motion inside of the song. All of them together with the drums and everything sounds like this. Pretty neat, huh? So I think that covers about everything. I don't think there was anything else I needed to talk about. So outro time. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching these videos. I don't make these mix breakdowns to get huge views. I make them because you, like 350, 400 of you, will watch them and learn from them. This is not ever going to be profitable from the Google ad revenue. I mean, these videos might earn me like 11 cents or something. It's, the ad revenue thing is a total joke on YouTube anymore, but it is the patrons on my Patreon page who make these mix breakdowns possible. So if you watch these videos and you're not a patron and you learn from these videos, please, please, please consider signing up over on Patreon, even for like $1 a month or whatever it is. There's lots of different options for how much, and you get like secret rewards over there. You get mix notes from me on your own songs and stuff. There are rewards over there. It's not just like paying for videos that you've been watching for free all the time. You get stuff out of like sponsoring the videos. But overall, what I want to say is thank you to those patrons, and thank you to the 300 and whatever of you that are going to watch this. I make these not for the views. I make them so you guys can learn a little trick here and there, and hopefully can apply it to your own music in your home recording studio. Because hey, man, we have home recording studios. That is awesome. And I really want you guys to be able to make cool sounding music in your homes. That's the whole goal of my channel. That's what I've been doing longer than anyone on YouTube, is this home recording thing on YouTube. No one else was doing this before me. I am dedicated to helping people do this because I love it. And I think anybody who can record and write music in their own homes, the world's just a better place with more music on it. And I want to help people do that. So that's the goal. And I just want to say thank you here at the end. As always, I just genuinely appreciate it because I appreciate it. And that's that. So you guys have an awesome 4th of July weekend here in the United States. If you're overseas, you might not even know what I'm talking about. But if you're here in the States, hey, drink responsibly and be really careful with your fireworks, because if you blow your fingers off, you're not going to be able to play with your instruments or your computer anymore. And how are you going to make music? Well, I guess you can make a cappella stuff. But, I'm sure you like to play guitars too. So be careful out there with your fireworks and your drinking combination. It can get a little hairy out there on 4th of July. But now I'm going to finish this video and spit it out, and I'm going to go spend some time with my family. So you guys, I hope you have an awesome time with your friends and family this holiday, and I will see you very soon. All right, peace and love.
I can carry the weight, and my back will not break. Everyone here is walking